Hey, how's it going, everybody? Phlinger here, and yeah, Ark Survival Ascended, single player. Today we're going to be talking about the best single player settings and the ones I use, not just in single player, but also on my servers as well that I host for my Foo Fighters. But yeah, so if you're looking for settings that not only respect your time, they also respect, well, yeah, mostly your time. Yeah, because Ark can be a very grindy game, and it can be, it can take a long time. And the settings that I've been using over the years, they've evolved and they've changed as the settings for the games get updated and they get changed and such throughout the years. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into them. All right, so let's go in through create save game. All right, you notice I've got quite a few save games over here. And each one of those actually has the same settings. So mod settings. The first mod setting, mods that I use pull it. That's really the only one I use. If there is an event going on, I will use the event mod, which right now we've got Fear Ascended running, but pull it is the one that I am always using because it just makes it so much better. Most other survival games in this age and era, they have, it's just communal crafting. So where, you go up to your crafting bench and it just pulls the resources from around you and all your storage boxes and stuff like that. Pull it allows you to do the exact same thing. And that's why I use pull it. It makes it so where, yeah, you could organize everything, but it's not absolutely required. But, yeah, honestly, I think pull it just makes the game better. All right, so let's hop into the game rules. Now, another thing that I would like to say is that this is your first time loading up the game and you go through and you choose difficulty. Well, honestly, once it says choose difficulty, I would just back out of it and then back in, go back in. That way there, you can set this up the way you want, or else you're going to have some settings and different things going in. Or you go in and click hard, and then you can, it'll be a lot easier to adjust it. It's more of a challenging game, but also you'll have everything spawning at the correct level and everything like that. Okay, so this right here, this is, yeah, I don't change anything on player. I don't change anything on creature. I do have a max count of 1.5. I would recommend you don't do that. You have it on 1.0. My 1.5 is just for when I'm streaming, so there's a lot of stuff that, available to do. But I would recommend going with a max count of 1. Everything else in here is completely default. Even the harvesting damage of 3.2, that is default. All right, structure, this right here, I do not change any of these things other than you want to make sure that you have disable structure placement collision turned on. That way there, when you go and you place down, say, like a foundation, but it's clipping into the terrain a little bit, and it just won't let you create that masterpiece that you've got going, or it just won't let you, tuck something into a little hole that you think is going to keep you safe at the current time. Disabling structure placement collision, turning that on will actually allow you to place that thing there. I would recommend don't get too crazy on this when you're placing things in, or else you'll end up losing some foundations into the structure that you just can't get back. So yeah, use that one wisely, but honestly, it helps with making all sorts of really cool builds, because face it, I mean, if Ark was completely flat, you wouldn't need this, but it's not, so you kind of need this sometimes. All right, let's pop over into world. All right, now here's where things actually start changing a little bit. Okay, so my settings, I have the XP multiplier turned to 1. You can have it in any of these settings that you see. If you want to switch it up however you want, it's your game. Play it however you are. These are the settings that I recommend. But say if you want to have your XP turned up to 4, do it. All right, but my XP is 1. Sometimes I will turn this down to, when I'm first starting, down to 0.2, or sometimes 0.25, maybe all the way up to 0.5, just so where I can kind of extend the beginning game, because honestly, I love the beginning of Ark. I think it is absolutely just the best time to play, but eventually you have to get up high level, and you have to start doing some bigger things, so once that happens, change it to 1, so where you can keep going with that. And you can start getting into the bosses and, tech gear and all that other stuff. But at the beginning of the game, I always set it to, rather low, so where it extends it. Because at this point in time, Ark, we're technically running on 4x compared to what Ark was when it first came out. They've doubled it twice. So that first one was to 2.0 and then to 4.0, but which is still just registers as 1. So 0.25, that's actually the default that XP multiplier that Ark had when it first came out. All right, taming speed multiplier. I have mine set to 4. It makes things a little bit easier, a little bit faster to tame. You still are reliant on kibble for getting perfect tames, but you're not reliant on sitting there next to your tame for 3 hours while it chomps on that last piece of prime meat. So yeah, it's at 4. Harvest yield multiplier. I have mine set at 3. Sometimes I'll set this to 2, but harvest yield multiplier is a tricky thing because if you're playing on single player, you are the only one harvesting up all of your resources. So setting it to either 2 or 3, it makes it so where there's still challenge there. You still have to go out and do it. You're not going to pick up a rock and then all of a sudden have like 10 of them in your inventory. No, but you will have to go get your resources, but it's not going to take you nearly as long as it normally would on, say, like a 1.0 setting. So yeah, harvest yield multiplier, I changed that. All right, allow speed leveling, I keep that off. A lot of people like to have this turned on, like it was in the old Ark Survival Evolved. This allows you to, say, like, level up your Argent speeds where you can go a little bit faster. It is kind of cool that you can do that. I keep mine turned off because I like to have the authenticity of the vanilla game. All right, allow, let's see, allow flyer speed leveling. Okay, this one right here is for the Argent, and this one right here is for your speed. Yeah, I keep both of those off. Maximum difficulty, make sure this is turned on. All right, and then make sure difficulty level is set to 1. That way there you'll get level 150 dinosaurs in your game. All right, PvE mode. This right here is kind of a interesting topic. If you have PvE mode turned off, if you have it turned on to PvP mode, then it will make it so where it's harder for you. Some dinosaurs will not let you fire from the back of their saddles. In PvE mode turned on, then you can fire from the back of their saddles, which is really the only reason why I have mine turned on. Hardcore mode off, allow unlimited respecs. You want to make sure this is turned on. If you do not have this turned on, it will have you have to wait an entire day in between your use of mind wipe tonics, or you have to level up in between your respecs. So where if you say you're like level 87 and you use a mind wipe tonic, then you'll have to wait till you're level 88 before you can use that again. So yeah, I just have it turned on. That way there I can use a mind wipe tonic whenever I want without having to worry about the additional things tacked onto it. All right, the rules. All right, these ones right here, these are more specific to the individual player. There's a couple of them on here that I would like to highlight. But yeah, allow third-person camera. If you like using the third-person camera, turn it on. If you're in single player, a lot of these ones do not matter unless if you are going to be using a non-net dedicated server. But if it's just you, then a lot of these you don't even need to have turned on. Enable crosshair. This is definitely one I would have on. This gives you the little lovely crosshair in the middle of your screen whenever you have an item that requires a crosshair or a ranged weapon or anything like that that allows you to do it. And it just helps line up your shots a lot easier. So yeah. All right. So no survivor downloads. All these things right here are, I would just leave them off. That way there you can use the terminals to upload and download whenever you want. Yeah, it's not really going to change much. Let's see. Disable loot crates. No, I would not. Use single player settings. Here in a little bit, I'm going to be getting into the breeding settings that I use. And for all my servers and my single player. Now, there's a couple different caveats with that. If you are using single player settings, this changes a lot of the game. As like right here, modifies various internal statistics to support faster paced survival experience for a lone player or small group. If you're using my breeding settings that I'm about to get into, do not have this turned on because it will break it and you will not be able to get 100% imprint. So you either use my breeding settings or use the single player settings, whichever one you want, but don't try to mix and match it because it won't work. All right, now also if you if you want to activate a different event, so right now I only have the birthday event that I can use on here, but if you want to use the birthday event, you can turn this on at any time by selecting on an active event. It's actually kind of cool. Allows you to get some dodos and also it allows you to go out, farm the party dodos. You can get some cakes that allow you to get special things from some wild or tame dinosaurs. It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, here it is if you want to turn that on right here. All right, now let's get into the advanced settings. Now, this one right here, this is where things get a little bit weird. And if at any time, if you want, just pause the screen at any time, and then you can just pull up my settings on here. I will be going through here kind of fast because I don't want the video to take forever. Like I said, I try to be as respectful to your time as possible. So, yeah, any of these ones that I definitely think you need to have enabled or set in a certain way, I will highlight those. But if not, then you just pause the video, and then you can carry on. Flyer carry. Starting off, flyer carry. This is one you absolutely want turned on, because if you have this turned off, if you are in PvE mode like I am now, it will not allow you to pick up things with, say, like an Argent or Quetzal, anything like that. But if you have this turned on, then you will. All right, no diseases. If you want, say, if you want to get like the achievement for curing swamp sickness, you need to have this one turned off. And then non-permanent diseases turned on. I mean, you could turn them both off as well, and then you could just have the permanent disease. But this one right here, this allows you to actually get infected with the swamp fever, but then it also doesn't make it permanent. So, yeah, it allows it, you know, to not infect your dinosaurs and stuff. Yeah. All right, cave flyers, this one's up to you. I keep mine turned off. Yeah, that should be it on that. Also, there is disable gamma and cave building over here. Those are important ones to know where they are. PvP, I do not touch that one. World, now this right here, my day-night cycle. This is one I'm going to sit here for a minute, and I'm going to explain this to you. So the day cycle speed, this right here is how fast the entire 24-hour period of the day goes. I have mine set to 0.3 because I like longer days and shorter nights. But when it's still going, it's still a longer day. But yeah, this means that my day is going to basically be 3 days worth. So yeah, I'm gonna have some pretty long days. All right, my daytime speed is even short. I mean, it shortens that as well. So whenever the day cycles to speed, to daytime, it even slows down further. But when it goes to nighttime speed, it speeds up. The lower the value, the slower it goes. The higher the value, the faster it goes on this setting right here. All right, and then I have my initial time of day set to 10, which means that every time I load into my game, it auto sets to 10 a.m. in the morning. Spoiling time, I have mine set to 2. That way everything takes twice as long to spoil, and you won't have to worry about your prime meat going. You can actually do something from getting prime meat to putting it on a dino, instead of having to grab it, put it on there, and then go back and constantly go. Sometimes you will still need to get a little bit of extra prime meat and, say, mutton to throw on your throw on the tames, but this right here gives you quite a bit of wiggle room just by doubling that timer. Let's see, corpse decomposition time. This one is important. I would recommend, if you are a new player, actually setting this right here to, say, like 5. I have mine set to 2 just because I like to actually have a little bit of time. This is whenever you die, or whenever anything dies in the game, you including, how long before that corpse disappears or the loot bag that it was carrying disappears if your body is harvested. So if you end up dying in a weird spot and you're having a hard time finding it, this right here gives you a little bit more time to actually find it. Like I said, though, if you are a new player, I would recommend setting that to 5, just so where you have plenty of time to find your corpses. Yeah. All right, no resource radius. This right here is the scaling factor for how far away from player characters resources will regrow or respawn. ASA, in my experience, has had a lot of problems with single player the resources respawning on single player in a good amount of time. Now, there have been some times before I started messing with my no resource radius and also my resource respawn interval when things just wouldn't respawn. I'd harvest up like an entire hilltop full of metal, and then nothing would respawn for, easily 8, 9, sometimes 10 play sessions of like 5 to 6 hours each. That's not acceptable. So I went through and I kind of fine-tuned my no resource radius. This is the radius around your bases and your player character, where things will actually respawn. So you can get some resources that are, say, if you've got a metal node that's about 100 yards away from you, it'll respawn. Some of the bushes will get a little bit closer to your bases and stuff, but honestly, I I kind of like them. I think they add a little bit of a, ambiance to the thing. All right, harvest health. Make sure I wouldn't change that. The higher the health on things, yeah, the same resource it gives you. All right, resource spawn interval. This one right here is how long from the time that you harvest the node till it will actually respawn. So this one right here actually works in tandem with this one. So this is the distance, and this is just the timed interval. So I have mine set to 0.15. I was messing with this one recently. I did have it set to 0.25, but I noticed things were still going a little bit slower. Like I would stream one day, and then I would, the next stream things still wouldn't be respawned. So I just set it to 0.15. And yeah, sometimes things do come back a little bit too fast, but that's really not something to complain about. Yeah. Crop growth speed. This one right here, if you are using the Elder Claw and you have to grow your Elder Claw, don't change this. It will bug it out. At least in my experience, that's what happened. But on crop growth speed, normally I would set this to 3, just so where my crops would actually grow in a decent amount of time. Because remember, in a single player game, when you shut it off, it's not constantly running in the background. It's still there. I mean, it's not there anymore. So your crops are only going to grow when you are actively in the game playing the game. So I had it set to 3 just where it was faster. But if you're using the Elder Claw, don't use this because, yeah, just keep it set to 1. All right. Now here we're getting into my breeding settings. Now, over the years, through Ark Survival Evolved and then also through Ark Survival Ascended, I have kind of fine-tuned these settings just so where, say, it'll take maybe an hour to 2 hours for most tames. Gigas will take about 3 to 4 hours to raise up, and there's a whole bunch of math involved in here with the interval, with the imprint interval and everything like that, or the cuddle interval, and also the how fast everything grows up, so where you can get 100% imprint on everything. If you want to use different settings, you're gonna have to go through and use the math on those. But in my experience, these settings have done me really well over the years. I still stick with it. Whenever there's a change to the mating, I will go through and I will redo the math on it. But yeah. All right, so the mating interval is a 0.1, which means there's about a 15 to 20 minute timer in between imprint or in between breeding of all of your tames. So where you can actually kind of breed a whole bunch. And yeah, lay egg interval, I don't change that. Egg hatch speed, this is at 60. So where when you plop down an egg, it's gonna actually hatch up in a decent amount of time. Sometimes usually between like 4 minutes and maybe 15 minutes, all depends on the egg. All right, make sure you do not turn this one off. And then let's see, baby mature speed, that is set to 42. So as things will grow up, it'll grow up 42 times faster. So it's a lot faster when your babies are growing. So it allows you to actually get a bunch done in a single play session if you're breeding. The baby cuddle interval, this is at 0.03. If you're using this baby mature speed, make sure this is there. It'll allow you to get 100% imprint on everything. Some of them are pretty tight, like Thylacolios and Theres, but you can definitely do it. I've done it many times. And yeah, you just have to make sure that you're, set timers for things. It's about a 15% imprint or 15 minute imprint in between each imprint. Just set a timer. Give yourself about a minute so where you're there and so where you're ready to imprint whenever you want. Let's see, these ones right here, I don't change at all. Let's go over to wild dinos. These ones do not change at all. Tame dinos. All right, so choosing your difficulty, easy, medium, and hard, it will determine a lot of this stats right here. I don't want to use the stats that these use. I want to use what their official servers use. So these right here, these are the stats that the official servers use. So where it's relevant to everybody who's playing on the server, keeps the exact same challenge, keeps the exact same dino stats. And basically it's the health, the damage, the health, the damage, the health, the damage. All the other ones you just keep the same. If you're playing on easy, it'll bump these way up. If you play on medium, it'll bump up a little bit. If you're playing on hard, it'll actually reduce these. So yeah, so the official servers are somewhere between single player, medium, and hard. Yeah. Okay, player, this one right here, do not change that at all. XP multipliers, yeah, I don't change that at all. And miscellaneous. This one right here, there's a couple different ones in here that you want to make sure that are turned on. But yeah, most of these, yeah, show floating damage text. Whenever you're, say, watching my videos or anything like that, and you see the damage numbers pop up, this right here is how you enable that. All right, and then let's see, if you want to, say, raise a Titanosaur, or you want to tame a Titanosaur, or a Titan on the extinction map, and you don't want to have to let it just expire in front of you because it runs out of food and it slowly dies, you just turn this on. There you go. And then there you can keep it forever. Let's see, allow custom recipes, make sure that's turned on. But everything else here, I just keep the same as default. And yeah, I'm not sure why this is at 1.5. I've never changed it, but yeah, I think that might actually be the default. Who knows? All right, now how do you get the mod Pull It if you're interested or curious? If you're just here for the settings, there you go. I'm gonna just go briefly explain how you get this. You just go to available mods. I've got a couple over here, and then I've got a couple for emotes just so I can get some good screenshots every once in a while. But other than that, yeah, see what you do right here. You go to get mods, and that'll open up this little browser right here, and you just type in Pull It and hit enter, and then this right here will pop up. You want this one right here, not this one. This is his tester, and this one right here is the one I use. So yeah, this right here will allow you to just pull things from anywhere around your base into either your inventory, a dino's inventory, a crafting inventory, and it just really helps out. If you want a full rundown of how I do it, just come watch one of my streams, and it works out really, really well. All right, so that is my settings for 2025, or the last bit of 2025 going into 2026. I hope this video helped you out. There have been some changes from the last time, especially with the respawn interval and such like that, so I felt I needed to get this video out to everybody just where you knew exactly what settings I was using, especially my streams, my videos, everything like that, and then also just the settings that really help, you know, when you're in single player, and it helps save your time. So hey, I hope this video does help you out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Let YouTube know I exist. Let the YouTube know that I helped you out with the video. If you're new around here, subscribe. I do a bunch of basics videos and such like that. Also, I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday with surprise streams sometimes throughout the week. That may be changing, but the Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday will not be changing. I may add more to it in the future, but those days are exactly what I'm doing. It's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday and Thursday, and it is 1 p.m. on Sundays. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in stream. Also, yeah, I do a bunch of basics videos as well. So if you have a question about any dinosaur in Ark, chances are I've done a basics on it, a full video that explains everything that dinosaur can do, how to tame it, what it does, and all the little hidden things that, you know, that you just don't even think about when you get that dino. All right, so hey, until next time, this is Phlinger. Take it easy, everybody.